Hello everyone and welcome back to Naomi's Bookshelf for another day of Bookmas. We're going to discuss my TBR jar. So in my TBR jar I have a lot of books, but these books are only the books I've owned since before 2018. So these books I have owned officially for 3 years now as of filming this. I think if that's the math right. Anyways, I have gone through this many times. I made this jar a long time ago when I first discovered BookTube, and I thought this was a great idea, and I never kept up with it. So now I still have this jar of proof that I've owned these books for a very long time, and yet I haven't read these. I have culled these books. I have gotten rid of the books I don't want anymore, and now is the time to read them. It has been far too long that they've sat on my shelves when I've been interested in them and I haven't read them. So I'm going to show you all of the books I own. Every month in my TBR game, I will be picking out 3 and adding them to the game. So here we go. Let's just show you what I have. None of them are in particular order by genre or by title or by author. It's literally just a pile here in front of me. And hopefully my goal is to have them all read, or most of them all read, by the end of the year. That's my intention. Let's see if I can do it or not. Now, as these are all books that I have owned for a while, I still don't know much about them. If I do know anything, I will let you know. Otherwise, it's not going to be much information. I own, first and foremost, Just Jane by Nancy Moser. I've owned this one for a very long time, and every Jane Austen July, I plan on reading it, and I never have. From what I understand, this one is about Jane Austen. It's a retelling about Jane Austen's life as she struggled to find love in her own way because she never got married. So that's all I know about this one. Another one is Jingle Bell Bride by Gillian Hart. I don't know anything about this. It's a winter romance, simple and easy. Another one that I have is My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. I bought this one a while ago, obviously, and I didn't read it right away because I heard that it doesn't take the story in the normal route, but that shouldn't stop me if I'm still holding on to it. So that's also in the jar. Another one that I have is The Fill-In Boyfriend by Casey West. This has survived many unhauls. I don't know why I'm still interested in this, but I am. I tend not to like YA, but this one is intriguing to me for some reason. I don't know why. This is back when I was buying a bunch of books on Book Outlet. I went through a binge a couple times, not too many, but a few, and most of these books are from that. So I need to read this or get rid of it and decide what I want to do with it. Another one on this list is The Witches of New York by Amy McKay. I think the thing about this book is that I haven't loved either for other 2 books, and this one is very thick compared to the others. So I don't know anything about this. I think it's like a fantastical element, maybe urban fantasy or speculative fiction, but I'm not really sure. I just know that her books are a little more hard-hitting, and I haven't truly loved either of them. So hopefully I'll get to this one this year and figure out if I want to keep reading her books for the long run. Another one I'm just grabbing off of the pile is the Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. I read this one when I was in high school, but I want to reread it as I feel like I think I'd get a lot more out of it, and I don't really remember it at all. So this is a copy I'd like to read again. Another one is Dynasty by Tom Holland. The Rise and Fall of the House of Caesar. Now this one is very interesting to me. The only thing is that these books tend to be very dense and very heavy. I mean, this book isn't even 500 pages. It's under 500. But typically books like this take a little longer to read, but it is something I'm interested in, all sorts of history, and this kind of history with family drama is always interesting too. Next one is another family book, is The House of Treason, The Rise and Fall of the Tudor Dynasty by Robert Hutchinson. Similar to that, it tends to be a little harder to read, but this one is also short. I didn't realize it's under 400 pages. It's actually, footnotes included, it's like 400 pages. So why am I putting it off? It'd be great. Anyways, I'm excited to read that one eventually. All these books I want to keep reading, or keep wanting to read. Another one is The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. I have gone through lots of unhauls with this and thinking about it and keeping it, but it does sound interesting as it is from the Netherlands, as it's in the Netherlands, and it's from a different era in history. I think it's from the 1700s, which I don't normally read about. And it's also, I've heard it's kind of speculative fiction, but not. So that's kind of why I'm still keeping it, since I'm not a massive speculative fiction fan. So that's something I'm interested in reading for sure. Then I have Bonnie and Clyde by Paul Schneider, the lies behind the legend. So this one is another nonfiction that is intriguing, true crime wise, about these two legends in the true crime world. Another one, but this one I actually literally know zero about. I think it's a mystery, and that's about all I know. The cover got me, and that's about it. The Secret Life of Violet Grant by Beatrix Williams. That was a tongue twister for me for some reason. I don't know anything, but this cover keeps me all the time. And every time I read the synopsis, I always forget what it is, but I'm always like, that's a good good sounding book. So that's in the jar. Eventually I'll read it. Then I have one that is dense as anything, and I've tried to read, and I just need a push to read, and that's Pirates, the Mammoth Book of Pirates, edited by John E. Lewis. So this is dense and heavy, and it's a lot of history about pirates. So very authentic history. It's just heavy history, and hard to read at times when you get into heavy history like that. Then we have a bunch of fun contemporary romances, or maybe not contemporary, all of them, but we have some. It's His Texas Bride by Deb Kastner, and I don't know anything about any of these for Soul. Then we have Mistletoe Courtship by Janet Schonzit and Sarah Mitchell, and A Home for Hannah by Patricia Davids. I think this is actually an Amish one, so that sounds good too. The next one I have is Captivating by John and Stacy Eldridge, nonfiction. I have owned it for a very, very long time. Probably closer to 10 years than 3 years. Then I have Henry VIII, Reformer and Tyrant by Derek Wilson. So that is one that is another denser one. I mean, these books aren't over 500 pages, but they just are so heavy in content. It's a little hard to read sometimes. I think that's the thing about a lot of these, is that they're either heavy in content or they're daunting for some reason. So I haven't picked them up for so long, or I forget about them, like these easy little romances. Anyways, another one is Angela's Ashes by Frank McCourt. I don't know anything about this one. I know it's a nonfiction, and I think heartbreaking from what I've heard. So yeah, that one eventually. Then I have Robin Hood by David Baldwin, the English Outlaw Unmasked. And I am very excited to read this one. I lent it to my aunt for a while, and so I got it back a little, I don't know, maybe a few months ago, and I still have yet to pick it up, so I need to read it. And it's just so much fun sounding. I am excited to read it. It has fun pictures like this, and I am excited to get into it and find out the history and the true potential Robin Hood. I've always found that story to be fascinating. Then I have Jane Boleyn, The True Story of the Infamous Lady Rochford by Julia Fox. So this is another nonfiction about the Tudors. I have also Mafia Crimes, The History of the Mob by Al Cimino. Another true crime book that I think I just forgot about, to be honest. I don't go to my nonfiction shelf often enough to pick up books, and I should way more often. Then I have Swiss Family Robinson by Johann Wies. I hope I'm saying that wise. I would like to get to this one. I've owned this book for a really long time, and it's just something that hasn't gotten around to yet, but I'd like to a lot. One book that kind of scares me just because of its size and my experience with other historical books of this size is Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel, although I've heard amazing things about this, so I shouldn't be scared. But I've heard this about Thomas Cromwell. Maybe I'm making up that. Yep, Thomas Cromwell according to the back. But I am excited to pick up this one eventually. It's just, I think I need to push because it is a lot bigger than a lot of the Tudor fiction that I read. So I don't read a lot lately, but when I do, I'd like to read smaller ones. So I'd like to pick up this one though. I've held on to this for a very, very, very long time. So another book that I have is For the King by Catherine Delors. This one has survived many, many unhauls, and I don't know why I haven't just read it yet. It's about the revolution against Napoleon, and it's like about bombings apparently and trying to kill Napoleon and how he keeps surviving them. So it sounds very fascinating. It's very short, but I just haven't picked it up yet. So I'm not sure if the king is Napoleon or if they're trying to defeat Napoleon. I'm not sure. Because Napoleon technically wasn't king. He made himself emperor, if I'm remembering my history right. I might be wrong, so don't come for me. I'll learn more about it throughout time because I do have a Napoleon nonfiction book. Don't worry. Anyways, this one sounds fascinating. I just haven't picked it up yet. One that I own that I know nothing about is The Chaperone by Laura Moriarty. I don't know anything. It looks 20s, 30s. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds interesting a little bit. The Great Depression, shows like the show stage. I don't know. I don't know much. I just know I wanted to read these books and I just haven't looked into them, or if I look into them, I forget. Another one I have is Plain Jane. So this is a novel, not nonfiction. So this is a novel by Lorraine Gardner, and this is about the third wife of Henry VIII who gave birth to Edward. So this is his only son. So that is always interesting. I've never read a book about her, and I would like to learn more about the one true love of Henry's life. So I think he probably just idolized her because she died before she could mess up, maybe, essentially, but who knows. And she also gave him a son. Moving on, we have How to Love by Katie Cotigno. This is one that I picked up in a big book outlet haul. This is one that I don't know how it survived many unhauls either. It's about this relationship that I've heard it's a very healthy relationship to read. So that's I think why I'm keeping it. So I'd like to get through it and see if I actually want to keep it or not. Then I have Belgravia by Julian Fellows. This is the creator of Downton Abbey, so I would like to read it as well. I've heard great things. I don't know anything else about it though. I just heard it's really great and I don't need to know anything else more. So we'll see. I've also heard the audiobook is good for that too. Then I have Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert. I started this a long time ago. And when I started it, it was interesting because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't read a lot of French classics at that time. And since then, I have not read it. I never finished it. And now I'd like to finish it for sure. And I would like to read more French classics. So this is one that I would like to get to. Another one I have is The Bull and Wife by Brandy Purdy. This is about Lady Jane, who married, I think this is the one who married Anne Boleyn's brother. So this is a novel though, not nonfiction. So I think that's how it relates. I'm not sure, but I held on to this for a very long time thinking this would be a good one. So we'll see. Then we have, this is a huge stack beside me. Then we have The Great Hunt by Wendy Higgins. Now this one, I don't even remember what it's about. It's fantasy world or Grimm's retelling. Yeah, it's a Grimm's retelling. I don't remember if this is the one about, I don't remember what exactly it's about. I just know it's a fairy tale retelling. And I've kept it because of that. I also heard really good things. I just remember what it was about. Then I have The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. This one I have heard is the best place to start with Kate Morton. I just have never picked up her book. So there we go. I have it. It's in the jar. I should read it this year. I also have Somewhere in France by Jennifer Robson. I don't know anything about this. I just know it's about French. I think it's during the war, maybe World War I. I don't know. I looked on the back and said 1914. That's all I know. Maybe it's between wars. Anyways, then I have No Book in the World by Lee Hager Cohen. I don't know anything about this one either. That title, it's intriguing. So yeah, I keep that one for some reason, and I will read it eventually. Then I have The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. Bookshops are so fascinating to read about, and it sounds very interesting. I think I have a lot of French placed books, French settings. Anyways, so this will be a good one, I think. I've heard really great things about this one as well. So there we go. I'm gonna have to reach out of frame for the rest of them. Another one I have is Elizabeth Gouge's Island Magic. I bought this one so long ago. I read an Elizabeth Gouge book at Bible college like 10 years ago, and really loved it, but she's out of print, so I found one of these and I wanted to pick up her Island. I picked it up my Island Magic, but I have never read it, so that's why it's on this list. I also have Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. I have never read Black Beauty, and this is one of those collections I just have a lot of children's classics I've never read before, so there's that one. You can see how much I'm reaching up now. I also have Bare Bones by Kathy Reich. This is a Hawaiian set one, I think. I don't remember. I've owned it a while, like everything else in this thing. But some of these books I've owned for like over 5 years. And they just happen to be on this list because they've been here for more than 3. And this one, I don't love her books, but I love the show. So I don't pick up the books easily, or I'm not drawn to them, but I do own this one. So I'd like to get it off my shelf. I'm not going to keep it long term, but I'm going to read it because they're enjoyable. I have another one here, but we'll find it. I also have A Test of Wills by Charles Todd. So this is the first book in the mother-son duo in Routledge series. So I went through a buying bunch of Charles Todd books. This is one of them. Then I have The Girl with the Pearl Earring by Tracy Cavalier. I have never read this. I've heard amazing things, so I need to. And I think it's based on that painting by someone. I'm not an art major. I don't know. Then I have Elizabeth George with No One as Witness. Now this book I actually got 150 pages in, this far in, left my receipt bookmark in there, and I've never picked it up, and I'd have to restart it because I remember some things, but I don't remember enough to continue. So it's just really daunting as a big book. So I remember starting it for Tom Topple one year. All right. Next we have this bind up. So I will be unhauling it as soon as I'm finished it, I think, but I would like to read these 3 books. So I have in here Weep No More, My Lady, Still Watch, and A Cry in the Night. These are all by Mary Higgins Clark, and I find her mysteries to be interesting, good, but not fantastic. So they're fun to read, but not 5 stars perfection. So I'm going to be reading these eventually. And also in my jar, they're all individual books, not one big bind up. So I don't have to force myself to read the whole thing. Then I have this one, which sounds very interesting to me still. I remember this plot, the summary pretty well. The Hours Count by Gillian Cantor. Now this one was about Russian spies on American soil who are taken into custody, like they're arrested, and their kids, I think, are left with like a nanny or something. But the mother is also arrested because she is assumed to be a Russian spy, and it's like the first female spy ever arrested kind of idea. It sounded very interesting. This was a book outlet purchase, and I still really want to read it. It sounds like my cup of tea. Just haven't found the time, like every other book in my life. And there goes the part of the pile. All right. Next are 2 books that I don't know why I buy these books. I do. So I have here Android Karenina by Ben Winters, which is a retelling of Anna Karenina, and Sense, Sensibility, and Sea Monsters by Ben Winters. So I have read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Love that book. So I bought these ones, and I wanted to read the source material first. So now that I've read Anna Karenina, I can read Android Karenina. And I tried this one once. I didn't really like it so far, but I'm going to try again. So there we go. All right. Hopefully that pile doesn't continue to fall. The next book I have is The Kalahari Typing School for Men by Alexander McCall Smith. This is book something, I'm not sure what number, in the #1 Ladies Detective Agency. I really enjoyed reading these and discovering the African culture, although I don't know how accurate that is with Alexander McCall Smith. I don't know if he has lived in South Africa or if he's not lived in South Africa, because this is not South African. But if he's lived in the area or if he has been there, but he's not African himself. So that's something that I have recently become more aware with my reading since picking up these books originally 3 years ago, that I want to be more focused on. So that's just something that I would like to look into more, but I would like to read these series as I own a good chunk of this series now. But yeah, this one would be the next on the list, and I'd have to Google probably to see what I've forgotten. But I would like to continue in that. And then I have another Charles Todd, A Question of Honor. This is, I think, the first Bess Crawford mystery, or one of the Bess Crawford mysteries. I like the Bess Crawford ones as well, but not as much as Ian Rutledge, so that one is good. Then we have The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. Yeah, this one sounds super interesting and super creepy, and yeah. The next one is also a Charles Todd, which is The Murder Stone. This is one of their independent novels. Don't know anything about it. I know I like Charles Todd. That's all I need to know. Tentatively going up there. Another one is a series that I have, which is the Born Supremacy and Born Ultimatum books. So part of the Born Identity series. I have, needing to read these books for a very long time. So they're on there. They're part of my series project as well for this year. So it's a good thing they're going to be in the jar. Then we have Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm by Kate Douglas Wiggin. I have never read this, but I've owned this copy for a very long time. This is another one of those children's classics need to get to. So we'll see. Okay, a couple more romance books. I have The Doctor's Bride by Pat Marr. And then I also have Little Miss Matchmaker by Danny Colbert. So don't know anything about those. They should be really fast. So the next one is The Girl Still Got It by Liz Curtis Higgs. This one is a book about Ruth and how it's a nonfiction about Ruth from the Bible and how God worked with her. And it says that take a walk with Ruth and the God who rocked her world. So I still haven't read it and I would like to read it. Then my last book is my last Kathy Reich book, which is Crossbones. Don't know anything about this. It's just one of my things. Anyways, so that's my last book for the jar. So let's see if I can do a pan. It's a stack, and there's a few that fell. So I have a lot of books that I need to get through this year, and I would like to be done them so I can unhaul them if I'm not going to like them anymore, if I'm not going to reread them. That's kind of my goal, is to get through that container. But we'll see how it goes. You'll have to keep me on track, make me focused. Anyways, I hope to do well. Please let me know down below if you have read any of these and if I should prioritize them. I'm not just going to be picking them out of the jar. I'm going to be trying to read them throughout the year on my own initiative as well, trying to keep them in the forefront of my mind and focused on them. That's always a positive with trying to get through this list. Anyways, please let me know if I should prioritize them or if I should disregard some of them if I'm not going to like them as much. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Also, please subscribe if you are new here and if you'd like to Also, if you'd like to give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed this, I hope to see you tomorrow for another day of Bookmas. Bye for now.